What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back here with another video, and today we're going to be ending this off with round 3 of 3. Now, I appreciate y'all's patience. It's been a couple days, but no excuses. Let's get into this. Let's get you guys what you deserve, which is a great video. Thanksgiving break's coming up soon, so you guys know we're going to have some great content coming out. 65 Lions. Now, this is a team that it's pretty obvious that, you know, there's a lot of dysfunction, and we could go a multitude of routes. Now, again, I have not thought of this pick. I'm coming in just straight up, opening the computer, preparing to go right into this. So you guys get to see the thought process live. Now, we can go Jalen Catalon here easily. I have him as a first round dude. Okay. If people think I'm hating on Jalen Catalon, I have Desmond Ridder as an early second. I'd be willing to take him there. Now, does that mean that he is like number 33 on my board? Probably not. However, I have a grade on people versus their big board rankings. And there's a lot of guys I like in this draft. Each one of them have their different values. I think I'm not showing any hate towards Desmond Ridder or Jalen Catalon. You guys know me. I'm a big fan of them. Even Ron McKinley, I've heard, has been playing very well this year as well. So I'm just looking at it. And from my point of view, again, Zion Nelson's going to be returning. Not that it matters this pick anyways. I'm down to two guys, Jalen Catalon and Desmond Ridder. Now, fixing the defense absolutely would be a great idea. Now, also, we could look at wide receivers, right? You still have Jalen Tolbert. By the way, I watched Jalen Tolbert. I think South Alabama play like NC State or something. This past week, I'm bugging on the team that they played, but he played really well. I mean, I already liked him in the beginning. I have him as a third round wide receiver, but he looked really, really good. NFL caliber. You know, for his height, he didn't look 6'3". I'm going to be honest, didn't look 6'3", but he played very well. So definitely a guy I want to keep my eye out on. Zay Flowers, I need to do a deeper tape dive on him because he's never impressed me once. But still, we're sitting here, and I know how much you guys want a second wide receiver, but the value of a Jalen Tolbert versus Desmond Ridder is night and day. And I hate to step on people's toes. If that makes you angry, yes, that is a bicycle in the background. Don't judge me. I am getting a bike lock. But Desmond Ridder is 1,000 times more valuable than anybody else on the board, even my boy Jalen Catalon. Yes, you can fix the rest of the team, but Desmond Ridder is a very good quarterback. He makes some very scary decisions, as does every other quarterback in this class. So I'm going to take him here. He could easily go top 15, but he goes here. This draft is going to be very interesting because we do not know where these quarterbacks are going to fall, in which order. So Desmond Ridder is certainly a very, very, very talented quarterback. Number 66 with the Packers. This is a team that I could see going after a guy like Jalen Tolbert. I can see them going after I need to check out this guy. I've actually heard quite a bit about Raymond, but I see them going after a developmental tackle like Rasheed Walker here. I don't think they do. I do think they go the receiver route. Finally, it's about damn time, right? And go Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama, a guy who's just very talented. We could go Justin Ross there, but I think Jalen Tolbert doesn't have those injury issues either. That's a big plus. And holy shit, Washington, excuse my language. Yeah, you guys got strong safety down, right? And you get Jalen Catalon. So what'd you guys get this draft? I'm pretty sure you guys got a quarterback. You got Sean Ryan, probably Matt Corral, and now Jalen Catalon. This is an A+ draft on my rankings. Like, I think this is A++. You know, you got your left tackle of the future, a guy who can play guard, whoopsies, and like a guard for the short term, left tackle for the future, and now you have a star free safety. Yes, absolutely. Jets are on the board. Another guy to factor in is if I'm praying that the case goes forward, making sure Anderson did not do exactly what's going on right now, but he's going through a certain essay charge to put it as an acronym. And I'm hoping that is false because obviously I don't want anybody to have been hurt by it, for one. And two, Adam Anderson is probably a top 15 talent for me in this draft class. We're holding off on drafting him for the time being because if that goes through, then he's probably going to have to transfer and play one more year. Regardless, the Jets are sitting here. Running back as well as tight end are excellent options. You still have guys like Isaiah Likely who are absolutely balling it out. That being said, I think there's a bigger drop-off in terms of an RBBC running back like Zach Charbonnet. going probably the next best guy. Might even be Britton Brown. Breece Hall is a 3-down back. I wouldn't really draft him to this team above a guy like Zach just because I don't like that fit. But I think the next guy, honestly, it might have been Zach's teammate. You could look at Kennedy Brooks as a guy, but for an RBBC role, this might get Zach drafted much higher than any of these other running backs just because of the fit. It's going to be Zach Charbonnet. Again, he's going to be that Javonte Williams to he's going to be that Javonte Williams to Michael Carter. And we already saw how damn good that was. And Michael Carter's showing that he is the guy who I thought second-round grade running back, and he's lighting it up. So big fan of that. If you get Zach Charbonnet in there, it's going to just make the offense 1,000 times better. Big fan of Zach Charbonnet. Also, he's my boy. So 69 with the Giants. Already got DeMarvin Leal. I'm sure we got Darian Kennard, and now we have Rucker on the board. Another position I might want to look at as a linebacker, if there are anybody who I'd be interested in, Mike Jones going to return. Henry To'oTo'o, I still think is going to return. Owen Papo might be very interesting here. Very solid coverage linebacker. Maybe he's pushed down a little bit on the board for me. I'm not that crazy about him anymore. I used to have him as like a second-round linebacker. Still will probably go in this range, but I'm just going to say, watch out. We already know where this pick is going. I really don't think that Saquon Barkley is the future, and Breece Hall is extremely underrated. So I do enjoy him quite a bit, and I am going to be taking him here at a very nice pick for the Giants. Now, back with the Giants. I would have considered quarterback here if either of these guys were on the board. I just don't know why people love Daniel Jones that much. Now, yes, he's not he doesn't need to be replaced. However, you're not going to get anywhere with him. I don't know how many top 10 picks you guys need before you realize that. Because the team, I'm going to be honest, besides the offensive line issues, it's pretty damn loaded. Regardless, I still am probably going to be looking at Owen Papo here. I might want to trade back though, because I don't think the value is worth it. So we're going to. There's still Verone McKinley on the board. The Vikings, the Vikings might have gotten a solid safety in the last round. So I don't want them to, people to be fearing them. Yeah, I don't think they go safety. But there's still Verone McKinley on the board for a team that is looking for a free safety. A team, you could even look at the Seahawks as a team that could potentially want one. I don't think the Jaguars would want one. Even the Niners. Niners could definitely use probably another wide receiver, even though I just don't think anybody's worth it. Verone McKinley's on the board. Let's look at other players. You have Romeo Doubs on the board, Justin Ross. I don't think either of those guys are worth the grade that they've given him, that TDN's given them. I think they're worth more. You could look at other offensive linemen, but Perrion Winfrey is also on the board. That guy's a beast. Devonte Wyatt, Haskell Garrett. It's a tough spot. It's a really tough spot because there is also ZTF on the board. And ZTF is a monster. He's like absolutely freakish. So I really like all these guys, to be honest. It sounds kind of bad to just say I like all these guys, but even Jermaine Waller's on the board. It's a weird spot to be. And again, obviously Lewis Cine, Verone McKinley, probably the next best safeties on the board. So I might look to move up with the Jaguars. I want to see who they took in round 2. They took Nicholas Petit-Frere. Interesting. I like that. But I think they might want to move up for an actual strong safety like Lewis Cine, who's arguably the best safety in college right now. People are hailing Lewis Cine as one of the better safeties, not one of the best safeties in college. So we're going to see the Jaguars make a small trade up. Just keep it interesting, keep it fresh. Sometimes players are worth it. Plus, look at this. We got picks for days. So we're going to see if just another 7th round pick will be able to move us up. The Giants could use some extra depth players everywhere else, and there's some pretty good depth in this class. So I like it. We could go ZTF here. I'm still going to be going safety. Lewis Cine here. He is really, really damn good. So we're going to leave him right there. Now, with the Vikings on the board, I would still consider Verone McKinley because I don't know if Brandon Joseph's going to be able to be a true free safety. However, we don't get to really judge whether that happens or not. I think edge is a really good spot. You're not going to be able to get that type of production out of Everson Griffin every year, especially since he's getting older. So I think a guy like ZTF, who is a bit larger, 266, gets triple teamed on his 20th snap of the year. I'll continue quoting that. It was a tweet that he put out, which is quite funny. He is worth it. And he is a fun ass project. I can see him going in the mid-second. So very good player out of Washington. Now 72 with the San Francisco 49ers. I still would look at for McKinley. I know you guys say that safety issue is like kind of filled up. I kind of disagree. You know, obviously, I'm pretty sure what was that other kid out of Georgia? Not Darian Kendrick, but I'm bugging on it right now. But he was a slot corner, Tyke Smith. Usually take him for you guys because slot corner is a big issue. Free safety could be something I do look at, but wide receiver, Romeo Doubs as a deep threat might be a really good option. I still might go towards the safety route. I know that you guys like guys who are good after the catch. So if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say go KHALIL SHAKIR in the next round. Obviously, we got Martin Emerson already. Just get the best player available. And what's the worst case scenario if you have multiple safeties? Bro McKinley is an absolute beast. 73 with the Giants back on the board. So this is a team where honestly defensively they don't really need much besides maybe another linebacker. You can use an 3-4 edge rusher to replace Lorenzo Carter, because I know Azeez Ojulari's lighting it up, but you could get somebody else on the outside, another guy like Nolan Smith to be that type of 1-2 hit. I'm saying Travon Walker's returning, by the way. Just that's my gut feeling. And I'm considering saying Nolan Smith would too, just because I think both these guys could be first round edges, which is crazy because that's just how damn good Georgia is. That being said, I think one of them's going to come out. And if one of them's going to come out, it's going to be Nolan Smith. I just think Travon Walker is just starting to show how good he is. I mean, look at his size. This guy was in coverage and swatted a ball down. Like, this guy has actual coverage ability at 275. He's going to be a first round pick of the next year. So I'm going to go actually Nolan Smith here out of Georgia to just add another edge presence on the squad. We already got whatever we want in DeMarvin Leal. Now we're going to be able to light it up with Nolan Smith off that edge. Just an interesting addition. Just having a little bit of a change up in the draft picks. Number 74 for the Eagles. We're going quarterback. Just kidding. I think that Jalen Hurts is a good enough quarterback to patch it up right now. He is a very, very good presence in the locker room. I'm a big fan of him. I thought he was a third rounder back when he was getting drafted. That was one of my first videos I ever made, was I put Jalen Hurts there, and I put him as a Taysom Hill type, which he is ascended past that. I think he is probably a very low end Dak Prescott. And I think that's a big compliment to say the least, but he is certainly not the issue. We fixed up the defense pretty well. TJ Edwards just got paid, so kind of annoying, but I think that the best option might be to invest in the offensive line. And looking at a center or a guard is the best choice. I'm just a huge fan of Ricky Stromberg. I love Arkansas's interior offensive line. Now, they're not perfect, obviously. Otherwise, people would be hailing them even higher than this. But if you watch the push, especially in the run game from this offensive line, this kid's going to be drafted pretty high. And he's a true junior. Watch out for this guy sneaking into the second. It's something that I have a weird feeling about. Ricky Stromberg, you already see how good Landon Dickerson's playing. Brandon Brooks. I think his name's actually Brandon. Yeah. Brooks is going to be on his way out, I think, soon. And that is going to be a good replacement for him. Or if Landon Dickerson wants to go to center, then Ricky Stromberg is perfect to replace that. So either way, it's a really good spot. Add a couple pieces to the offensive line, fix up the defense. That is called a winning strategy. Number 75 with the Falcons. There's no quarterbacks for y'all to take. So I think the best thing to do is to go interior offensive line. Perrion Winfrey, Devonte Wyatt. Honestly, I think that you guys might favor Devonte Wyatt a little bit more. But we're going to go Perrion Winfrey here. He was undisputably the second best interior defensive lineman in the class. Of course, that's factoring DeMarvin Leal as an edge. So I think getting that at 75 is a pretty good option. He's very good in the pass rush, needs to fix it up in the run game. But to be honest, you need something to go right. And at least he is a top end pass rusher from the interior. Perrion Winfrey is a good addition here. 76 with the good old Bears. There is no more right tackles that I am comfortable taking here. Actually, I want to see I forgot what position Raymond plays, whether it's left or right. But when it comes to Rashid, he's a true left. You look at Kellen Dice, true left. Pretty and 95% sure he's a true left. Abina Eze, true left. So I'm not comfortable taking a tackle for him. And that means I'm going to be looking more towards maybe a more impactful position. I know they like their corners, but a guy like Mikael Wright or Jermaine Waller kind of is too good to pass up on. I think Mikael Wright is getting underrated by you guys. He's young. He's probably going to return, to be honest. But we're going to take him here. This team desperately needs some help, and they're going to get it. 77 with the Seahawks. I know left tackle is something that we need to get, but that's not going to happen right now. Zachary Carter is going to be somebody who's very interesting. I'm not a fan of Brenton Cox anymore. He just seemed like a very slow, heavier version of Azeez Ojulari in the wrong way. And then this year I saw him play and he just doesn't look like he has any form of effort whatsoever. So Zachary Carter's 285 and has pretty much the same exact time to the passer as Brenton Cox. So I'm heavily favoring that. Sam Williams, if he didn't do that crazy face mask thing this last weekend, I'd probably consider him. But for right now, I'm going to go Zachary Carter out of Florida going to the Seahawks. Again, left tackle is just not very, very good right now. 78 with the Browns. I think it's a great spot where the rich get richer. And that's either Haskell Garrett, Devonte Wyatt, and I think interior defensive linemen from Ohio State, especially ones that can pass rush. Those are going to be a very fun addition to this team. 79. The Colts are on the board, and I'm heavily favoring a guy like Romeo Doubs to be the T.Y. Hilton replacement. But there's also Jermaine Waller on the board. And I think that the NFL has a lot better receiving talent, or you can do a lot better with poor receiving talent than with poor corner talent. So I'm going to be going Jermaine Waller out of Virginia Tech. Not exactly the zone type of corner that you guys would be looking for. But if you guys are looking for a guy who actually has crazy potential, this is where you go. If I were to take somebody 100% scheme fit wise, I mean, I'd probably look for a heavier dude like Caleb Evans, 200 pounds, just being able to have a little more meat on his body. But I don't think you can complain about Jermaine Waller. Number 80 with the Broncos. This is another team. I can see them going after a boundary corner. And I say corner because it's at Bridget. But I think we might go Nehemiah here. Auburn corners are doing pretty damn well this year. And I think this is kind of where you see one go. That being said, you could go Owen Papo here. I would not mind that at all. Very good coverage linebacker out of Auburn. Speaking of Auburn, and that's honestly what we're going to do. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, get a good coverage linebacker, and continue moving forward. Chiefs are not going to be continuing to press on without going on the offense. I hate it. It's just stupid, but that's just the way it is. They're going to be actually targeting a very interesting prospect here. You're going to go after Justin Ross out of Clemson. It's a guy where he does have that deep threat ability, good jump catch guy. If it weren't for that neck injury and surgery, he'd be up there in round 2 territory. Just again, back at his height, he was a top 10 player. When I first started this whole channel, this dude was a top 10 player. And I had him falling to 20 and people were saying hallelujah, we're getting a steal to draft. So getting him here at 81 just kind of feels right. So we're going to take him here and enjoy it. 82 with the Bills. Offensive line could definitely be a place we go, but I like the idea of getting Devonte Wyatt as a high-end interior defensive lineman. Just put some pressure on there and keep pushing forward. 83 with the Jaguars. I'm going to be looking for a guy. Logan Hall is not too shabby. I know he's going to be more of an interior guy. I want to get a guy for the outside. Now, if Nolan Smith were still here, I'd take him in a heartbeat, right? He fits perfectly. I've heard some very good things about O'Shawn Mathis, by the way. He's been doing a pretty good job. Isaiah Folksy is okay. Not someone who I'm going to be extremely excited to get. Boy, Amafi is heavy. So trying to find someone who would be a good outside linebacker just isn't working right now. Again, there's just none of these guys really fit what I'm looking for. And that kind of sucks. I haven't seen enough about Barno to say whether I'm going to take him or not. So I'm not going to. That being said, there's a guy named Isaiah Likely on the board, and that's going to be a fun weapon for Urban. So take him, steal him from the Chargers, who, of course, get Trey McBride. This is a team that could that kind of already has their tight ends, so they can get a receiving weapon. This is a team that's looking for, and now you have two Treys, Trey McKitty and Trey McBride there, more of an all-around tight end, and as well as Trey McKitty, who's more of a receiving back or receiving tight end. 85, you got the Raiders. Now, Raiders are going to need a receiver. This is where Romeo Doubs is going to replace. He's going to replace Henry Ruggs. So, I mean, he's a great guy. Could have went here. He could have went here. Hell, he could have went here. Probably even here. Like, there's a lot of different places he could have gone. Like, he could have gone here as well. Just really good steal. Romeo Doubs is a very, very good very good wide receiver. Number 86 with the Patriots. Whew. This is probably just best player available or a trade back. Jalen Wydermyer is still on the board, and there are some teams that probably want a tight end. One of those teams being in the have the Cardinals gotten one? They haven't. And I don't think that the Patriots would want to trade with an in-conference rival. So we're seeing a big trade up by the good old Cardinals. I know that y'all want a receiver. Not to be rude, I kind of know what I'm doing right here. And I'm getting a very high-end player, asking for a next year's 6th in return. Maybe we can toss in a next year's 7th just to make it better. So you guys are moving up in the next round to move down, or next draft to move down some spots in this one, so that a guy like Jalen Wydermyer is taken to the Cards. I'd be considering a tight end there or a corner there as well. Wide receiver is something you could do, but again, after Romeo Doubs, not that big of a fan. 87 with the Bengals. This is a spot where I could see us going interior defensive line. You know, you still have Tyler Davis on the board. That being said, it's a weird spot because I would also consider tight end here, but we're not going to see 4 tight ends going 5 picks. That's just not very realistic in the NFL. Yeah, it's a weird spot. We already fixed up the offensive line. We could go a corner here with some upside, but I just don't think the value is that good unless it's in the first. So this could be a good spot to trade back and get some picks because I just don't really see much that would get me excited. I don't know if Josh Whateley's going to come out. I hope he honestly transfers. To be fair, I hope he goes to the Steelers just to pair up with, oh man, I'm bugging on his name. Get out of Penn State. Regardless, Josh Whateley's a beast. He's still arguably my tight end 1 just because he is that damn good. Still, we're going to move back here. We might still select a tight end, but probably not yet. I'm looking at the Texans and seeing whether they have gotten themselves a running back yet, and I don't think they have. And there's a guy in Isaiah Spiller here who is a perfect running back to fit right in there into the Texans scheme. Of course, the computer is going off right now, so very intriguing. We're going to toss in a next year 6. Holy shit, we have a lot of picks. So yeah, we're going to definitely toss in that next year 6. We're not going to get a 7th in return just because we're just going to be moving up with, I'm pretty sure they were in division. Yeah, they were in conference. So we're going to be getting Isaiah Spiller here out of Texas A&M. Really, really, really good running back. Number 88 with the Bucks. This is a guy who I'm a huge fan of, and TDN is not. James Cook out of Georgia. Really, really good receiving back. Big fan of him on the squad. 89 with the Steelers. This is a team where we could use a tackle. We could use a guard or center. We can use a corner. That's the only positions I could really see us going after. The corner is pretty thin, except for Pritchett, which yeah, he might be the right move. I could see us try to go after a guy who would be a good right tackle. Now, of course, you select a guy down here, the Steelers have a chance of taking him. We've already gotten a quarterback and a wide receiver. Did we get David Bell last round? That'd be a great fit. We did. Cool. So we're going to actually get a corner here. Nehemiah Pritchett out of Auburn. Just, you need to start working on that secondary and get some youth there. 90 with the Titans. This is a team where I would consider a guy like Greg Dulcich at this spot. Just, I think he's that damn good. And that's where we're going to go. I think that's the right move. We could go offensive tackle here. You could get a guy who's project like Rasheed Walker to succeed. What's his name? Taylor Lewan. But we're going to get Greg Dulcich here. 91. I hate the fact the Broncos continue having picks because it's just a team that I'm not that big of a fan of drafting for. I think, again, we do go an outside corner here. Looking at the guys who are available, I'm going to go Riley Moss, a really good pick specialist. You could have Nehemiah Pritchett here and Riley Moss down here. Do whatever you want. I'm a big fan of Riley Moss, but you need to get a boundary corner. That's the way you go. 92 with the Cowboys. We could see them going after another edge, but realistically, I don't really see them doing that. With this pick, this might be a good spot to trade down in all likelihood, but we're going to see him go an interesting pick here. Josh Wiley out of Cincinnati. Just a really, really good tight end that has all the bells and whistles to him, is just really raw. This team could have him sit for a couple years behind as like a number 2 tight end and just develop into a number 1. He is that good. Somebody who I have a lot of respect for. He was my tight end 1, arguably still is. Shows those flashes of being a true tight end 1. Big fan of him. With the Bengals, we're probably just going to take the guy who I would have taken last time. Tyler Davis out of Clemson. Just another big body there in the middle. A young developmental player, and it's the 3rd round. So getting a guy like that is a very good piece to the puzzle. I'm not going to go after a guy like Cade Otton at this point. I just think that it's the best value. If Josh Wiley were there, I'd go that route, but just not a big fan of that. Patriots again. So, Patriots. I was like, why the hell do we go Patriots again? It's because we traded back with the Cards. This is a good spot to go after a guy with some development that he needs. I think that's a guy like Boye Mafe out of Minnesota. He's just going to be a beast on the interior. 266 pounds. He's going to be good out wide as well as inside. He's just a fun, weird ass prospect. And if he's going to work, it's going to be with Bill Belichick. 95 with the Baltimore Ravens. This is an interesting one because I could see us just going for a guy like Akil Evans, a pretty big corner. But I could also see us going after a guy like Sevyn Banks. They do like these corner safety hybrids out of Ohio State. And honestly, I think that's exactly where they go. I feel like they're going to see something in Sevyn Banks that we don't, and they're going to scoop him up. Now with the Packers on the board, I think they're perfectly fine taking a developmental tackle and Rasheed Walker and finishing him out. I think that's the best thing they can do. And the Steelers are back on the clock. Hey, that's fun. This is a team where, I mean, they would probably go after a guy like Kellen Dyche. I just feel like that's something they would do. Or Bernard Raymond, Central Michigan. They do like these weird ass prospects out of schools that don't usually produce the best dudes. That being said, shoot, I kind of feel bad because Akil Evans is still here and we do need a second corner besides the one that we already have. I'm having a hard time thinking of what I would actually do here. So we could look in the edge room just to get some extra depth there. Don't think that's something that the Steelers would do. Interior defensive line wise, I think we're fine. Offensive line wise, this might be a good spot just to go after a really solid guard like Lakeisha Smith or Jamari Sawyer. I think that Lakeisha Smith is going to catch the eyes of the Steelers a bit more. Really solid blocker there. I think that he's going to be the best option. Tackle is just not good enough. And Lakeisha Smith he's worth an early 3rd. So getting him here at the end is pretty solid. 98 with the good old Lions. I think this is a good spot to look at Caleb Evans and scoop him up. 6'2", 200 pounds. It's a great spot to test out a corner for this team. And number 99 with the Giants back on the board. Did we already get that many picks? Did we trade? They got this pick in a trade. So this might be a pick that we trade to another team that wants to pick up somebody because I don't really know. Did we already get rid of Owen Papo? Because we didn't. This is a great spot. We did. I think he went to the Broncos. This might be a good spot to move out of. That being said, Micah McFadden kind of seems like a New York Giants type of guy. And Jack Campbell does too, though. Honestly, I think they're going to go after Jack Campbell. Not really a new addition to this team, but a guy who's more of an infusion of youth in that linebacking room. So I like it. He's a good compliment to Martinez. So number 100 with the Rams. Do they have an actual 100 pick? I did not think that they had that pick. regardless, I think they're going to go after a tackle. A guy like Kellen Dyche is perfect for that. Also pretty close to LA. So I think that the Pac-12 is going to be heavily scouted by the Rams, especially for depth talent at offensive line. He's going to be a guy that they definitely like. Number 101, back with the Ravens. Already got Sevyn Banks. And now they're probably going to look for a guard on the inside. You see a guy like Ed Ingram, and he's a mauler in the run game. I think that's going to be an excellent addition to the team. So we're going to do that. And for the final pick, if I'm not mistaken, in this draft, we got the Saints. In the Saints, we already got their 2 big positions of need. Now, let's have some fun. Let's find a guy who's actually a really good addition to this team. They do like guys out of Houston. I just don't think they're going to go the exact, like pretty much identical profile after identical profile. And it does kind of make sense that they could, though. You know, they went in the first round with the kid from Houston. So they do like that program. Now, Logan Hall might be a good enough addition to this team to where I might just pull that trigger. I think Sam Williams is going to be the guy who gets drafted, though. He is a really good edge player. He just needs to not grab a dude by his face mask. But that's going to be the way the draft ends, guys. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace.